Tonight on UpFront, 5 political parties, including the National Democratic Congress, NDC, and the Convention People's Party, CPP, dragged the Electoral Commission to the Supreme Court of the Republic of Ghana over the limited voter registration exercise that's supposed to commence on September 12. Tonight, we'll be hearing from the people in court and also the parties that are not part of this particular case, but really are part of the entire exercise. That's the governing NPP, to understand exactly what is happening in the Republic of Ghana that's requiring that the scope of the limited voter registration exercise be expanded. The main demand of the people in court or seeking to drag the Electoral Commission to court is that the EC's quest to only do registration for the new voters likely to come on board at the district offices be somehow amended or varied to include electoral areas across the country. This is an argument that commenced with a coalition of domestic election observers and some political parties early on writing to the EC demanding some correction be done. The Electoral Commission is supposed to be responding to this particular claim. If they are on UpFront, will bring you the very latest on this particular matter. But first, I sure should be able to take you straight to the details of what's happening in this suit. The suit filed by the Director of Elections of the NDC is demanding that, in form of the nature of the relief sought, a declaration that upon a true and proper interpretation of Article 42 and 45A and E of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and Regulation 2, Sub-Regulation 2A and B, and Regulations 31 of the Public Elections, that's the registration of voters, Regulations 2016, CI 91, as amended by CI 126, the Electoral Commission of Ghana, the defendant, that is the main claim being here, in registering voters, shall designate registration centers that are suitable and accessible to every eligible Ghanaian who is desirous of exercising his or her constitutional right to be registered as a voter. The next demand here is that a declaration that on the strength of Relief A, the decision by the Electoral Commission, the defendant herein to limit the 2023 continuous limited registration of voters to 8 district offices at the designated registration centers instead of the electoral areas violate Articles 42 and 45A and E of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, read together with Regulation 2, Sub-Regulation 2A and B of Regulation 30 of the Public Elections, that's the registration of voters, Regulation 2016, CI 91, and also to the extent that it is unconstitutional, null and void, and of no legal effect. This, among other declarations, including upon a true and proper interpretation of Article 45A and 45E and 42 of the Constitution. The demand of the NDC and the other parties is that the Supreme Court say that the decision of the second defendant to undertake the 2023 limited or continuous voter registration at the district offices of the second defendant instead of the undertaking same on the basis of electoral areas will result in voter suppression in particularly rural constituencies of the country. I understand that we can now speak to a major party in this election. That is the New Patriotic Party's national organizer, Henry Nana Boachi, who joins us in this conversation. Of course, the NPP is not necessarily part of the suit, but is an important party in the elections of this country. Nana B, you're welcome to UpFront.
Thank you very much, Raymond.
Are you surprised? Because this is an issue that they've been raising, they wrote letters, they've been talking about it, and they appear quite serious about it. Are you surprised that they are taking it to the Supreme Court for some interpretation?
Good evening, Raymond. First of all, I'm not surprised because I think that I've heard this move from the NDC on some media space. So I think that I'm not really surprised. But for us, the NPP, our position is clear. We are ready for the limited voter registration exercise. We are not for or against what the NDC has done now. I mean, it is within their constitutional right. as a political party to proceed to the law court for any relief whatsoever. So I think that is the right thing to do. Constitutionally, as we are practicing constitutional rule, I mean, that is the way to go. If you are not satisfied by a particular act of an institution, what you can do is to proceed to the law court, and I think that is what they have done. So it's within their right. Now, we are ready for the limited exercise if it is conducted today.
It's not interesting that, I mean, you have party members across the country, potential voters, including young people that you believe strongly should be part of the entire registration exercise to vote for the NPP. The main claim underpinning this particular quest is that voters, potential ones, may not be able to access the districts across the country, especially in very rural constituencies. It's not something that you are equally worried about.
Oh, you see, the fact of the matter is that we've done this before. This is not the first time. Don't forget that we even had a mass registration exercise where we had several registration centers. And as a political party, we put in plans operationally and administratively, and even in terms of logistics, to make sure that we aid those who intend to register. So this is something that we've done over and over again. The Constitution gives the Electoral Commission the mandate to carry out registration exercises. As to whether the court can compel the Electoral Commission as to how to go about it work, especially when, because for my knowledge, I know that there is no law that describes where the Electoral Commission should be placing its registration centers. Right, and especially when the Electoral Commission had wanted to lay before Parliament a CI that will regulate this limited registration exercise, but for one or two misunderstanding, it could not, especially in Parliament. We are aware of what happened. So for me, if the Electoral Commission says that it is carrying out the limited registration exercise at the various district centers, we as a New Patriotic Party will be ready, as I said, administratively, logistically, operationally, to make sure that we aid any person who intends to vote. And then, if you look at the press release from earlier press release, you recall that this is not supposed to be a mass registration exercise. We are talking about, from the last census, every year we have close to about 450,000 young persons crossing the age of 18, meaning that they become of voting age. So if you put together right from 2020, we've not had any registration exercise. 2020, 2021, up to now, we are seeking to have close to about 1.3, 1.4 million voters or so. So give or take, even adults who are unable to register because of one or two reasons. If you do just an upward projection, we are talking about maybe some 2 million. So it is not as if it's a mass registration where it is really going to hinder or put, some sort of unbearable traffic on the exercise. This is the exercise that is going to be carried out in almost about 241 district centers. So for me, as I said, we are not against, we are not for. We are only ready for the Electoral Commission as and when the Electoral Commission intends to begin its registration exercise.
Now, there's a point of this that's also interesting. I mean, we are talking about a form of exercise that's also supposed to help new people get on board. Is it not true that the last time we did any exercise of this sort, despite the fact that the EC had been mandated to do continuous registration, happened 2 years ago?
No, if you recall, the Electoral Commission's intended CI before Parliament was to bring on board two main issues. First of all, to deepen this idea of continuous registration so that when you turn 18, you don't even have to wait for the next registration period or window for you to be registered. You only have to proceed to the district offices, and then you get yourself registered as a voter. And the second part of it was to make the National Identification Authority, that is the NIA card, the sole identification mechanism for registering. And that is where the confusion began. So at the moment, I would say that the Electoral Commission doesn't have that structure or the law backing it, that immediately you turn 18, then you proceed to the district assembly or the district offices to get registered. That was supposed to be part of the CI. Unfortunately, the CI hasn't seen the day of light, right? And I think that would have been a major milestone in our electoral jurisprudence. But unfortunately, we've not had that. So for me, I think that because of time as well, and then because per the law, we need to have the district assembly elections. Before the district assembly elections, we need to have the Electoral Commission would have to open the window for new persons to be registered. So already, the Electoral Commission is hard pressed for time. I mean, they are very constrained in terms of the time. So what they have to do is to go by the old law, which is the CI 126. And for the CI 126, you have about 2 or 3 modes of identification. So for me, I think, and let me repeat again, the Electoral Commission is a body mandated to manage our electoral processes. If we are ready today, we are ready today. For what the NDC has done by dragging the Electoral Commission to court, it is within their constitutional right. And I think the Electoral Commission, they have quite some good, legal team to appropriately respond. For us in the New Patriotic Party, we are ready when the Electoral Commission is ready.
You've already talked about the timing constraints that the AC finds itself currently, and the very fact that next year we have a major election on our hands, actually, and the very thinking around the CI which never saw the light of day. I need you to clarify for the person who is hoping to participate in the exercise if the current roadblock is clarified or dealt with, or perhaps done away with, whichever way it goes. What is required for me to participate in the voter registration exercise? That's if I'm able to make it to the district office. As in, what proof do I need to show as identity? Since
I think that there's the CI 126, the NIA card is part of it, and then you also have, I think in there also
the passport.
The passport is also part of the identification, and then you have
the guarantor system?
Yeah, the guarantor system as well is also part. In fact, so the Electoral Commission, per the new CI they had wanted to lay, would have taken off all of this and would have made the NIA card the sole system of identification. So now we are going by the same CI 126. So it means that the guarantor system is still in place. It means that your passport, you can use your passport. It means that if you have your NIA card, you can also use your NIA card.
The EC said this was not the perfect system to ensure the perfect register we should be having. There's, however, a question. Since the suit we understand has been filed, and you are a lawyer, so this might be a question you'll be able to help me understand, and the listeners out there, is it the case that we have 5 more days to the start of that limited voter registration exercise? Can it happen on the 12th? Or dependent on what happens with this case, at the apex court of the land, it may or may not happen on the 12th. If I am hoping to travel to my hometown, if I'm hoping to go to Jabin today, to go and actually register, would I be able to go on the 12th and do the registration? Or all of that is currently on hold?
I am yet to find out whether the locatory injunction application was actually granted. If the court granted the injunction, then clearly it means that all activities pertaining to limited registration exercise must be put on hold. But I'm unable to ascertain that as I speak. In fact, I'll be grateful that I even saw this from when I spoke to you earlier on and you forwarded it to me. I'm here even just to study it. So I'm not aware whether this interlocutory application injunction was granted. I'm not aware of that. If yes, the court granted, then it means that, as I said, or it means, in fact, I have also made some checks at the Electoral Commission, and I implore you to also do the same. It appears that they have not received any documentation to that effect. They have not been served with any injunction as I speak. So for them, maybe they are going on their normal business, because I need that as a national organizer. I need to know so that I also plan forward. So as I speak, I don't know, but I'll find out. I'm sure that this is a very new thing today. Tomorrow, I think that there will be some other development and we can speak to it.
I get your point, but service is really not the biggest hurdle here. I'm asking, assuming the EC is served and every other party gets to know of this, is it your view legally that no matter the status of this suit, the September 12th registration can be commenced?
Yes, of course. That is what I said. That yes, if indeed the application for injunction was granted, then clearly all other matters, in fact, all preparatory, steps towards the commencement of the limited registration exercise would have to be put on hold. So the EC would have to communicate to us that yes, they have been served with this application, and for that matter, they cannot go on. And then when it is resolved, then they have to also come to us again to furnish us with a new date, and then we can also make preparations towards that. So yes, if the court says so, it means they can't do anything about it. That is a law.
Now, there's a question, though. There's a question about your supporters around UpFront Plains who would have to move to a district office to go and do the registration. If the current situation pertains through the registration process, what do you tell them about that logistical constraint and massive cost of transportation?
Raymond, we have always been doing this. Trust me. I mean, I've been part of electoral system for quite a long time. Look, every registration exercise as a political party or what is sought, you have to be prepared logistically, you have to be prepared administratively, you have to be prepared operationally. So this is something we've done over and over again. So yes, if you have somebody who is coming from something, it means you have to aid the person to come, register, and then go back. We've done this several times, all political parties.
Has the EC explained to you, especially because there's IPAC, that's where you engage mostly, why they think the district, rather than what is being proposed as the electoral areas, should be the better option? Has the EC given you very cogent and tangible reasons why?
No, usually when we conduct registration exercises at the electoral area level, then it means that it is a mass registration. That is what I said that we've done. We've already gone through the mass registration process where we were creating for ourselves an entirely new register. This is a limited registration, so you cannot use the same process. So yes, I can agree with people who say that, oh no, bring the process close to the people. But I can also agree with the Electoral Commission when it says that we cannot also use the same method when we were conducting the mass registration exercise for this limited one. So the mass registration, yes, it was done at the electoral area level. In fact, at the point it was even moving. It was moving around. We had this cluster, kind of system where it was moving around and we're doing the registration. But if it is limited, and I made mention of the figures to you, that the EC's target is seeking to register between 1.5 to 2 million or so voters. Right. So that argument can be right, and the EC's argument can also be right.
The right to vote, is it a fundamental human right?
It is a fundamental human right.
Is it a right that should not be constrained by any activity, be it the election management body or any other grouping?
Yeah, I'm sure that if the argument is go by. Then somebody will do that, then bring the registration to my door, or come to my room, or come to my house and come and register me. I mean, obviously, the Electoral Commission will have to put in place processes and systems to do this. So I can agree with anybody who says that, you know what, bring the system closer to us, right? I can also agree with the Electoral Commission if he says that because of some one or two constraints, some one or two operational constraints, we are unable to do this. But if people would want to say that the last registration processes, you have more centers. So why is it that you don't have more centers? I have a problem with that because the last registration exercise was a mass registration exercise. Mass. We were creating an entirely new register.
Now, there's a related question to this, which many people have been asking about what all of this process means for the next election and the very processes that we've been through so far, and what your preparation as political parties are. And even as a government, there are some that are saying the EC is unable to comply with the demands or the calls from the various groupings because government is failing to release the requisite amount of funds for them to operate at the scale they want to operate. That's why I asked the question, what justification has the EC been giving those of you who are active participants in that process?
Oh, Raymond, I think that the Electoral Commission is very, very loud when it comes to articulating their views and then their position. I'm not sure the Electoral Commission has complained about financial constraints. So I think that can be discarded, and that argument doesn't hold. What I have heard, the Electoral Commission, in fact, from all the statements they've released, the essence of the statement, and you go into the import of it, you notice that, yes, we have a limited registration exercise. We cannot open up to how these people are saying we should go. We have our own way. And the Electoral Commission, and as I said, I've combed through the law. I mean, we don't have a particular law that says that the Electoral Commission would have to conduct the limited registration exercise at Center A, Center B. That specification is not there. The Electoral Commission is the body that would decide where to hold the registration exercise. So all the arguments we will make, yes, it can be some fine argument, it can be very good argument, public policy argument, and all of that. But the Electoral Commission also has a mandate to carry out. So I've listened to these arguments. Yeah, that is why I'm saying that I'm happy this matter has ended up in court, so that the court will just settle this once and for all, so that it will not be as if it is A against B and B against C. Look, the law would have to decide on these issues. That is all.
I am grateful to you for your time this evening. And
I'm grateful too.
Before you go, has the MPP decided when you are going to do the balloting for the presidential election, the main election, the presidential?
No, we have not. We have not done so at the moment. And I'm sure when we do so remote, you'll be the first person to know.
Exactly what is the constraint? Because many are holding on to wait, getting
no,
to know.
You don't forget that we after this, we've had quite some few actions to take, some disciplinary procedures, and then we've had issues where we were supposed to even do, we had two aspirants who, there was a tie. The National Council had to meet to decide on these matters. One had to officially pull out, go to the party, and even recently too, we also had another aspirant also writing to the party, withdrawing from the entire process. So it is an ongoing process. I cannot say that because of all of these things. Obviously, it will pose as a challenge for the elections committee. Although I do not speak for the presidential elections committee, I'm rather putting A to B and then B to C. But yes, after the special delegates conference, we've had quite some issues to deal with. So that is the more reason why I think that they've not conducted it. So we had two people, truncating the entire process because of it. So that is why.
One single question is of importance now. You had promised to release reports from incidents that happened during the Super Delegates Congress. When are we supposed to expect this? This week?
You mean the the incidents that.
Yes. Your last.
Yes, we have a discipline committee that is sitting on these matters, and I think they started their work. It's important that we remain calm and then wait for their report. They will report to National Council. Their report will go to National Council. We will meet on it, and then we'll let you know.
I am grateful to you, National Organizer.
Thank you very much, Raymond.
Henry Nana Boakye is the National Organizer of the New Patriotic Party. Our conversation tonight is the decision of the NDC, the CPP, and some 3 other political parties to drag the Electoral Commission to the Supreme Court of the Republic of Ghana. And the demands they are making are quite clear. They are unsure in their minds why the AC is seeking, according to the reliefs, to suppress votes. 1, to prevent new voters from registering by making it almost impossible, citing the incoming voter registration exercise very far from them, in the very district offices of the AC and not at the electoral areas close to these voters. That is what they are asking the Supreme Court to compel the Electoral Commission to do. It is that writ that we sought to find out whether the other parties who are not either parties or part of this particular writ, what's their view? You just heard from the MPP's national organizer saying they do not oppose. They actually feel that the Supreme Court should be clarifying this matter once and for all, so that it will serve as the needed precedents going forward and the Electoral Commission can continue with this. The question as to whether or not the filing of this case automatically stops the September 12 registration exercise is hanging. That question I'm sure we'll get you answers to. But first, we should be able to get to understand from the people who have done this registration for a very long time what the major constraints that the EC is having today are. They say it's not finance. So what else should be preventing them from acceding to the requests of the people who have been making this request for the various political parties? After this break, UpFront continues.
Kwajo, why are you late?
Yes, Kojo. Why are you late again?
Kwajo.
Can't you talk?
See, Mommy, I could lie like Amma and say I was doing my homework with my friends. Or lie like Amma and say I was helping Grandma buy food. Mommy, I will not lie like Amma. I was playing with my friends, and that is why I'm late.
Homework now. Thank you for not lying to me. Your Calipo is in the fridge.
Calipo, the natural fruit juice drink.
Avi, you know that.
This advert is FDA.
Hello, my name is Abeku Agri Santana. If there's anything that makes my life so easy, it is my bank. I love hanging out with my boys at our usual fufu joint. But even without cash, we still dey chop better with EcoBank Mobile. No matter the time of day, my bank helps me stay in touch with my beautiful wife whenever she's away. And when my beautiful wife is in town, she never misses out on her favorite TV shows because I'm able to pay up all my TV subscriptions from the comfort of my mobile phone. Whenever she has to get groceries too, my bank makes it cashless and convenient. And the part my wife loves the most is when my bank makes it possible and easy for her to shop from any part of the world without moving.
Welcome to the smart world of EcoBank. Download EcoBank Mobile from Google Play Store or the App Store and discover the smart way to bank. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello there. To provide timely information and to explain educational reforms and to discuss school models and interventions, the Ministry of Education, in partnership with the Teacher Education Journal, presents to you the first ever education TV talk show, The Edu Talk Show. The Edu Talk Show keeps you informed and updated on trends in the world of Education.
The Ghanaian teacher is so versatile. Provide him the opportunity, train him, and that teacher will perform wonders.
Where are the women? They're doing very well academically, but they're not in the sciences and all of that. So technology is missing a lot more women that they could have had.
You need to tell the parents, at the moment, what you are getting is covering only an aspect of your child's education. And therefore, it's very difficult for you to make any decision with the limited information you have.
We still have more to do when it comes to safe school.
So join us as we speak to our guests on reforms taking place in Ghana's education sector. My name is Blessed Sogan, and I am your host.
You're welcome back. This is UpFront. My name is Raymond Alka. Tonight, our conversation is that lawsuit that the NDC, the CPP, and 3 other political parties have filed at the Supreme Court of the Republic of Ghana against the Electoral Commission. What I've been telling you early on is the very demands they are making that the EC, by going or deciding to do the registration of voters on September 12 and beyond that, the district offices is deliberately doing some action that would suppress votes, especially the young and new people who are likely to be registered. The National Communications Officer of the NDC is on Zoom and joins me now. Sami, you're welcome to UpFront.
Thanks for having me, Raymond.
So, this is a conversation that started as a form of plea, and I saw various political parties seeking, even CODIO, making some overtures to the AC to consider what they consider to be the younger people or people who may have difficulties traveling to some of these district offices. At what point were you convinced that this needed to be something, that the AC should be compelled to act on this?
When it became clear to us that the EC was not interested in stopping their belligerence, they were not interested in doing what is expected of them as provided for under the laws of this country. And they were hell-bent on pursuing this unreasonable course, which will lead to the disenfranchisement of thousands and millions of eligible voters. We decided to seek remedy in the law courts, and that is why we have filed this action. And as you've noted, this is not a legal suit by the NDC as a political party alone. We have 4 other political parties as plaintiffs in the matter: the GCPP, the APC, the CPP, and the LPG are all plaintiffs in this matter. And I'm even optimistic that by the time the actual hearing of the case will begin, we may have other political parties and stakeholders joining these suits in defense of the right to be registered as a voter and the right to vote as guaranteed under Article 42 of the 1992 Constitution. As we speak, I'm yet to hear or see any stakeholder or political party in our democratic space endorse or support this unlawful, unreasonable, unconscionable, and senseless decision by the G. Mensah-led Electoral Commission. And even, Raymond, this issue is very, very simple. We are not against the announced limited registration exercise by the EC. We are not against it. In fact, the EC is enjoined by law, specifically Regulation 30 of CI 91, the law that governs voter registration, enjoins the Electoral Commission to conduct limited registration, or if you want, revise the voters' register every year. And this legal provision, this law has been violated by the Electoral Commission in 2021 and in 2022. Because in 2021, there was no limited registration. In 2022 as well, there was no revision of the electoral roll in flagrant disregard of Regulation 30 of CI 91. Now, what this has done is that it's created a huge backlog of eligible voters. What do I mean by that? It's created a huge backlog of persons who are Ghanaians, 18 years and above, and of a sound mind, and who, by virtue of Article 42 of the 1982 Constitution, are entitled to be registered as voters and to vote in public elections. Per our conservative estimates, there are over 3.4 million of such persons, and CODIO has confirmed that, who are supposed to be registered. Okay, and so we were all happy when the Electoral Commission announced that in 2023, it will register these people, because by refusing to register them in 2021 and 2022, they were committing an illegality. We're happy, we all embraced it, we've been sensitizing our members and our people across the country to participate in the exercise fully. Our flag bearer even did a Facebook Live yesterday and called on all Ghanaians to participate in the exercise. What we are vehemently against has to do with the choice, the EC's choice of registration centers. The EC is saying that for the entire country, made up of 16 regions, 275 constituencies, and over 40,000 polling stations, the EC will be conducted the impending limited registration of voters at only 265 centers. 265 centers. And these centers are their district offices in the district capitals of Ghana. 265 of them. And we are saying this doesn't make sense because you have a huge backlog. You are supposed to register over 3 million people. To have all these people travel huge distances to the district offices of the EC will be imposing a huge inconvenience on these eligible voters. And due to costs or financial constraints, many eligible voters will be disenfranchised. Due to other forms of inconvenience that are likely to be occasioning these eligible voters, many others are likely to be inconvenienced. What do I mean by that? For some districts in this country, Raymond, people will have to travel 40 kilometers, 50 kilometers, 60 kilometers, 30 kilometers to the district offices of the EC and to their places of abode before they can participate in this process. They will have to pay exorbitant transport fares under the excruciating economic conditions we find ourselves. The excruciating hardships Ghanaians are experiencing. People will have to find money, 50 Ghana cedis, 80 Ghana cedis, 100 Ghana cedis, 120 Ghana cedis to transport themselves to the district offices and back from there to their places of abode before they can participate in this process. For some who don't even have the Ghana card and the passport and will have to get two guarantors who either have the passport or the Ghana card, they will have to pay the transport fares of their guarantors. So you're talking about not just transporting yourself, but transporting the two guarantors as well. How many people in this Ghana, this Akufo-Addo Ghana, where inflation is hovering around 44%, how many people can get 100 cedis, 200 cedis, 300 Ghana cedis to transport themselves to the district offices of the EC to register and transport themselves back to their places of abode? How many of them, those who have to rely on guarantors, can transport themselves and their two guarantors?
May I come in?
And when they even come...
A toast to our new college grad who fills us with so much joy, almost as much as when we're in our RV. Oh, the world is your oyster, kiddo, and ours too. Now that we're covered with Progressive, Dad and I can hop in our RV anytime we want. Might even splurge on a retractable awning. Ooh, look out. Sorry, what was I talking about?
Protect your loved one with an RV policy from Progressive. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
To the district offices of the EC, chances are that they may not even get the opportunity to register the day they come. They will be joining long queues because everybody in the district will be coming to one center in the district. So you are going to join a queue and they may not even get to your turn. So you may have to spend the night if we allow this irresponsible and unreasonable decision to stand. Who is going to pay for their hotel bills? Where are they going to sleep? What are they going to eat? Or are they supposed to go back and find another money to transport themselves back? If they are not lucky, they may have to come on 2 occasions or 3 occasions. How are they going to do this? What the EC is seeking to do simply doesn't make sense. There is not even one single sensible justification for this decision.
Except that I've been hearing from the NPP's national organizer, who just said even though the party is not opposed to your quest to seek clarity on this matter, it doesn't support it either. It doesn't really think that it is an exercise that I want to throw its weight behind. because the argument is given is that the EC has always used this same method to do limited voter registration, and that you political parties, have always made yourself available logistically, plans to make sure you help those who cannot travel to these districts to be able to get there. So he doesn't see anything new.
How many political parties? Well, they are going to be the beneficiaries of this unlawful, unreasonable, and unconscionable, conduct of the EC. This clear attempt to suppress votes. They are the masterminds. They are the beneficiaries because they know they have failed, and they know that if the EC expands the frontiers of voter registration, it is bad for them. They will be disadvantaged as far as the upcoming 2024 election is concerned. Either than that, no reasonable human being will support this senseless decision. They are going to be the ultimate beneficiaries. That is why they're happy. And if they are talking about the fact that they have the capacity to mobilize the needed logistics and resources to transport people there, how many political parties have that capacity? They are in government, so they have the largest of states. They can take state funds and bus people. What about CPP? What about PPP? What about PNC? What about the NDC? How many people can cope with that huge cost of transporting thousands and thousands of people in every district? You understand? So it is easy for them to say that because they are in government. They control the largest of the state. They control all state funds. Very typical of them, and as we have seen in the last 7 years, they can just dip their hands into state coffers and take money for their party activity.
He never suggested that was how they are going to actually fund the exercise. I'm saying he never suggested that's how they are going to fund the exercise.
That is what they intend to do. Now, I mean,
I have a question though.
Hold on.
Forgive me, before you...
a sitting deputy general secretary of the NPP, Nano Bribwine, tell us that the money for their Cape Coast Party conference about 3 years ago was actually given to them by the Jubilee House, the state, the seat of the presidency. So this is what they have been doing.
I have no idea of the point you are talking about.
Taxpayers' money for that. The tape is there. You can Google. I'm talking about.
Sorry, I'm not privy to it, but I have a question. If you could hear me out, the question directly is: you have mentioned so many. What they call it, specific constitutional instruments, and also laws that border the space. Is there a specific law that states that limited voter registration exercise should happen at the electoral areas and not the district offices?
Emphatically, yes. Unfortunately, I'm speaking to you on my phone, so I'm unable to read a law to you. But let's do your viewers this service. Can you Google CI 91? If you don't have it, just Google CI 91, which is the law that governs voter registration. CI 91, specifically Regulation 2, Sub-Regulation 2. CI 91, Regulation 2, Sub-Regulation 2. And then when we are through with that, we will look at Regulation 30. It's very clear that they cannot register people at their district offices.
Even for a limited voter registration exercise?
Do you have it now? Yes, even for limited, they can't.
Okay,
they can't.
Actually, I'm pulling the agreement out.
I think I can read it on my phone. I think I can read it on my phone for you.
Sorry, you said Regulation 2.
Right? Regulation 2, CI 91 reads registration
91
and electoral areas.
CI
91 registration centers and electoral areas.
So it says the commission shall designate. The commission, that's the electoral commission, shall designate registration centers for the purpose of registering voters and may designate any place it considers appropriate as a registration center. That is 2.1. 2.2 says in designating a place as a registration center, the commission shall take into consideration the suitability of the place for use as a polling station on election day. And the accessibility...
Hold on. Before we go to B, we are on Regulation 2, Sub-Regulation 2A.
Yes.
So what you read, in designating the place as a registration center, the commission shall is mandatory. It is not permissive. It is not optional. It is compulsory. They shall take into consideration the suitability of the place for use as a polling station on election day. Now the question is this: can the EC's district office be a polling station on election day? Have we ever used EC district offices as polling stations on election day? That's my question.
I have absolutely no idea. I've not seen any of such places being used. But of course, I'm not the electoral commission, so I'm not in a position to determine.
No, please. You are an ace journalist in the country. You've followed and reported on elections, not today.
Yes.
We've never used EC district offices as polling stations.
I get your point. The second point says...
So the second point too says, in designating a place as a registration center, the commission shall take into consideration the accessibility of the place to prospective applicants for registration.
Yeah.
Now, this is, you understand, they can say it's accessible. I say it's not accessible to the man who is unemployed and cannot even afford 1 square meal a day. You cannot say that your district office is accessible to him when you cannot afford the transport fare to that place. This is common sense. But this is even debatable. Let's go to the A.
Except the determination of what's accessible is purely out of the EC, actually. Isn't it so?
A says the suitability of the place for use as a polling station on election day is clear. So this is a specific law, the specific law which prohibits what the EC is seeking to do. Now let's go to Regulation 30 of the same law, Regulation 30.
Okay, I have it. Are you already there, or you want me to read that?
It says the commission. You read that. I like it when you read. You read very well.
Okay, now it says the commission shall revise the register of voters annually.
Hold on.
Every year.
When you're reading legal provisions, you need to go slowly. You don't read it like a storybook. The commission shall. So this is compulsory.
Okay.
Shall revise the register of voters annually. Was there a revision of the voters register in 2021?
None that I'm aware of.
Was there a revision of the voters register in 2022? No. So already this Jean Adukwe Mensah-led EC has committed an illegality. This is clear. But let's continue.
Okay. And may revise the register of voters for each electoral area within a period that the commission has determined.
Why didn't the law say may revise the register of voters for each district? But they said electoral area. Even when you look at the Regulation 2 we read, this is the EC's own law. This is the law Jean Mensah has sworn to uphold and abide by. Look at Regulation 2. The title of Regulation 2, what is it? The title of Regulation 2, what we read.
Well, I need to go back to that, but because I'm wrapping up this conversation...
It says registration centers and electoral areas.
Yes, that's actually what the title is. But I need to ask you...
So what they're doing is a palpable illegality. But Ray, before you come in with your question...
Just briefly, because my time is up.
Article 45 of the Constitution, which provides the functions of the EC, also provides that the EC shall undertake programs to expand voter registration. Shall undertake programs to expand. Why are they rather constricting access to voter registration when the Constitution, the supreme law of the land, enjoins them to expand access to voter registration? Article 42 says any Ghanaian 18 years and above and of a sound mind is entitled to be registered. Why do they want to deny them? You know why they want to do this? Because by restricting registration centers to their district offices, it will be possible for them not only to suppress votes. So the voter suppression is number one objective. But the second objective is to rig the process through gerrymandering. Because under the current system where the registration is done at the electoral area level, the key stakeholders in the process, who are the political parties, are able to recruit, train, and deploy polling agents who reside in those catchment areas. And so if a person comes to be registered and the person does not reside in that electoral area, they are able to challenge that registration because they live in the area and they know the people who live in that area. Now, if you restrict the process to your district office, Raymond, tell me, can you have an agent who know all the people who live in the district? Emphatically, no.
My time is up.
How will they be able to challenge imposters?
Sammy, the question I wanted to ask you finally, sorry, because is the September 12th designated time for registration going to happen? Will it happen, mindful of this suit?
We have filed this writ. We have also filed an application for injunction.
Okay.
We've been told, very strangely, this has never happened in the history of this country, that we cannot be given a date for the hearing of the application for injunction because the Chief Justice has traveled, and the Chief Justice insists that she herself must give the date for the hearing of the matter, which is unheard of. And the one may even ask that, Raymond, if the Chief Justice is even indisposed or unavailable, can't they delegate somebody to do that? And since when did the Chief Justice take over the duty, the basic responsibility of the registrar of the court? Because giving dates for the hearing of matters is the duty of the registrar of the court. So I'm afraid the matter, yes. We have been told that on Monday we will be given a date for the hearing of the matter on Monday. And once the date is given, the EC will be served. Once they are served, they cannot proceed with the registration on the 12th unless they do the right thing by bringing the registration to the doorstep of every eligible voter, which is the electoral area level.
I'm afraid I have to go. Thank you so much, Sami Jamfi. He is actually the National Communications Officer of the NDC. Thanks so much also for watching today's edition of UpFront.